friends, Queen of Flannel here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to our first tutorial for April. We're going to be focusing this month on primarily for the Saturday tutorials, plants and possibly animals. We'll see. I haven't planned the whole month out yet. And this was originally supposed to come out next Saturday. But if you have seen the notice over on the community tab, I had some recording issues with the last video for the mythographic series, so I've kind of had to shuffle things. But this was actually a request from a subscriber who wanted to learn how to better color mushrooms. So that is what we're going to do today. And I'm going to be working with the Derwent Chromaflow pencils. If you have not heard, they are releasing a 100 and a 150 set of these pencils, the Chromaflows. So I thought it would be a good time to pull these back out and get reacquainted with them. I used them in my last live stream, so they will definitely be making an appearance over the month. So let me go ahead and show you guys the image that we're going to be working on. This is not going to be a full image tutorial. This is just purely on the mushrooms. And so I chose this image out of Kerby's Colormorphia because they're large mushrooms, and I thought it would be easy to see on camera. And we're gonna do two of them today. Hi, future me here. So this mushroom took forever, and the funky mushroom will come in a second video. And back to past me now. So I'm gonna do kind of the traditional, the red cap mushroom, realism kind of, and then we're gonna do something a little more stylized. So we're gonna start with this mushroom, and I'm not gonna color the little dream catcher here, just the mushroom. So for this one, we're going to give it at least the top, we're going to start with the top, a nice orangish peach undertone, and you'll see why when we get towards the end. So the first thing that I am going to do, and first let us get a little closer here, is I'm going to go in around the spots. This is Melon 0410, and I will leave the combos for these in the description. And I'm going to give this whole mushroom, and just around the top of the mushroom in these little edges here, a base coat, and I'm going to leave these spots white for now. Because I want the whole image to, or at least the whole top here, to have a kind of peachy undertone. And I guess I tend to use the majority of my pencils, even, my Prismacolors, like a layering pencil, so I do a lot of base layering. If you're working with Prismas or, another type of pencil, you absolutely can do this without needing a base layer. It just tends to be, like I said, the way I like to work. It's kind of, I guess, underpainting pencil with pencil. And now, since these are wax base, I want to keep the layers light, because if I come in too hot, then it makes it really difficult to erase back. And these pencils are kind of an in-between. They are not as hard as a Polychromos, not as soft as a Prismacolor. And if I had to compare them, well, I should compare them with other Derwent pencils, I would put them in between the Lightfast and probably the Pro Color. I know the Lightfast are an oil-based pencil, but they're fairly soft pencil. And the Pro Colors are a primarily wax-based pencil and are very hard pencil. But they lay down pretty smooth and hold a point really well. So next I'm going to go in, this is 0400 Flame. And I'm going to just kind of darken this up. And I'm not going to put this around the whole cap here, because I do want to go back in with the Melon. So stylistic choice, probably in some of these little like wrinkles that Kerby has given us. And along the edge of the mushroom here. And I'm working in small circles. So it looks a little rough right now, but we'll blend it out as we start adding in more layers. But these are a really nice pencil and fairly affordable. So it'll be nice to see what new colors they add. So this is just kind of, you know, however you want it to look and wherever you want to add your color. You can vary up how dark and lighted it gets. And again, this is just, you know, base layers. We are going to get a little darker here. So under here, I feel like, for me, I want that a little darker, because this is the underside of the mushroom. Now I'm going to go in with my next color, which is 0500 Scarlet. And I am going to press a little harder with this one because this is what I want my primary color to be. And I'm not too worried about if I get any of this color inside the little like circles and whatnot. Because we could just treat that as, you know, like a little bit of maybe a cast shadow. And it might be hard to tell on camera, but you can still see the orange that we laid down first, kind of peeking through the Scarlet. And this is a very like reddish orange anyways. But I definitely want this darker around the edges. And you can vary this depending on, you know, what you've determined, where you want your light source to come from. And I will also say these pencils do work a little bit better in terms of getting like a darker pigment if they're sharp, kind of like the Polychromos. And so I am leaving some areas kind of untouched by the Scarlet for the moment. I'm still kind of, you know, blocking in, because I'm going to go back with some of my other colors. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of work backwards. So I'm going back in with the 0400. This is the flame. And I'm going to use this to smooth out some of these edges into the Scarlet. And also add a little bit more down here around the edge of the cap. And I'm going to pull this up a little bit into the top of the cap. So I am starting to press a little bit harder now as I'm blending these out. Not too hard, but just to kind of smooth out some transitions. And in some of these areas where I didn't quite fill in with the Scarlet, I'm going to bring the flame up into it. It's really just a lot of layering back and forth until you get the look that you want. And reference photos are your friend. I use a lot of reference photos just to kind of give me an idea of what certain things look like, and then I kind of take it and make that, you know, my own. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in with the 0410. This is the Melon. And do the same thing down here to smooth out some of these edges with the flame. And darken up some of the edge of the cap. And then this is the flame again, and I'm going to darken up this little like edge here just because I want this transition to be a little darker there, just along this edge. And then I'm going to come back up here in these areas where I've primarily left it blank white for right now. I'm going to use the Melon to kind of fill some of those in. And soften up some edges. And if I take this too far, I can just hit it with the eraser and bring back some more highlight. So some of these areas I'm going to need to bring back the darker color to get my transitions to blend out a little bit better. That is one thing that I have noticed with these pencils, is you may need to work back and forth a bit as you start building up your layers. They tend to work a little bit better when you have, if you're working from a darker color to, you know, a pretty significant lighter color, that you have a kind of a bridge between them. The other thing that I will also say about these pencils is they're quite a bit slimmer than the majority of the other pencils in the Derwent line. I don't have the exact diameter off the top of my head, but they, I noticed the other day when I was using them that they do kind of hurt my hand after a little while. So I can only work in short bursts with these, but I tend to notice it more when I'm, getting up into where I'm pressing a little bit harder to try and smooth out some of my layers. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go back in with the Scarlet and work from the top down and really start trying to deepen up these edges. And like I said, it is really just a lot of back and forth. And then we're gonna go back in with the flame. And then back in with the Melon down here around the cap. Okay, and now I'm going to come in with, this is 0020 Parmesan, and I'm going to use this on some of my lighter areas. And also on my spots. And so this doesn't render well on camera. It is a fairly light, it literally looks like the color of Parmesan cheese. But it is about the closest thing to cream that's in the set right now. And I am going, off the sides of these and into the red areas. Actually, kind of like that it's pulled some of that color into the spots, because it just kind of looks like, a little bit of the light has kind of cast some of that red onto those areas. So this little area right here is a bit rough on the transition for my liking, so I'm just gonna go back in with the flame and just add a little bit of that. So this is also, the Parmesan is also kind of becoming my blender for this. Okay, I like the way that looks so far. I'm going to come in with, this is 21 Natural Brown, and just along the edge here, super light, and including like over the spots here, just because I want this to kind of look like this whole side is shadowed. So I'm not gonna do a whole lot of blending. I just kind of want the brown to look like it's laying across. So I'm not pressing super hard here. I don't have my little brush thing on my desk. I don't know where it went. So I apologize for using my hand to brush the crumbs off of the page. Okay, and I'm also going to take the natural brown and just kind of go around the edges of some of these little spots, just to give it a little visual interest. And around the edges down here. Okay, I think we are ready to move down to the bottom portion over here, the underside of the cap and down on the stem. I think what I'm going to do, because looking at the recording time for this, we're at about 32 minutes, is I am going to switch over to a bit of a speed color, and I'm going to voice over for the bottom portion of this. Not too much, but just enough so that this video doesn't take us a million hours to finish. I did not think it was going to take me this long to color the cap on this mushroom. So, yeah, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to do the bottom portion of it in sped up just a little bit, and I will voice over walking you through the combo and my process. And I'm also going to do just a little bit of a cleanup off camera on this top part, just because I can't like lean in without getting my head on the camera to touch this up. So I will see you guys in just a minute. Okay, so the first thing that I am doing is going in with the 0020 Parmesan and using this as a base across the whole underside of the cap of the mushroom, as well as the little fringes and all down the stalk. And for this tutorial, I wasn't super worried about like the little dots. Those look like they would probably be like water droplets or something to that effect. You could always go in at the end with a Posca or some other paint pen and add those back as little white details. Next, I am taking number 21 natural brown that we used as the shadow color on the upper part of the cap, and just picking some areas underneath here where I want a darker color, close up underneath the cap where things would be a little bit more shaded. It was really just kind of playing it fast and loose and just picking some spots that I wanted to accent with this color. And now I'm going over to the underside of the cap, and again, I mean, it's a mushroom, so if this was in nature, you know, it would be random, so I just used the natural brown to accent some of those like ridges and lines. And I did this on both sides of the cap, and as you know I usually do, you want to start off light and kind of block your colors in before you commit to pressing harder or, you know, burnishing it's much easier to start lighter and build up than to try and have to pull back if you come in too dark. So now I'm moving down to the stalk and using the brown on some of those little detail lines that Kerby has given us, and up under the little fringes. Mostly just in the areas that look like they're kind of like a little like crevice where there would be some shadow there. And I kept this really pretty simple in terms of how many pencils I used. And I know my hand is kind of in the way there. It's a pretty tiny spot to get into. And again, I'm just carrying this down the length of the stalk. And I am making it darker around those connection points between the pieces. And also down in this little area near the bottom where the other elements in the page would be up against the mushroom there, so they would be casting a bit of shadow. Plus that area is, if my light was coming from the upper right, aiming down, that area isn't going to be getting a lot of light anyways because of all of the other elements in its way. So next, I am using 0300 Golden Sun to add a bit more color to the underside of this. This is a fairly mustardy colored brown, even though there's another pencil in the set called Dijon. This reminds me more of mustard than that pencil does. And so I am again using this in some of the areas up under the cap and those little fringes. And just kind of blocking things in. And now we are back to the 0020, the Parmesan, using that to smooth some things out and to tone down a bit of the Golden Sun. Like, you can still see it peeking through, but it's not as yellow. And just going back and forth and applying this where I think it would look the best. Oh. Back to the Parmesan. I think I put the Parmesan down and then picked it back up. Now back to the 21 Natural Brown, and I'm just darkening the area right up underneath the cap, where that stalk would meet the underside of the mushroom. And so this was a choice that didn't quite pan out the way that I had hoped. So this is 2110 Morning Mist. This is one of the grays in the set. It's a bit of a warmer gray, and it didn't really render too well on camera. And even just sitting at my desk and looking at it, I was trying to use it as a bit of a shadow color, and it was a little bit too light for what I was trying to do, so it really didn't do a whole lot. If I had it to do over again, I probably would have come in with a darker gray and just applied lighter pressure. But hopefully there are a few more, I think there are a few more grays coming with the 100 and the 150 set. I was looking at the color chart for them the other day. And now back in with number 21 Natural Brown. Again, just, you know, continuing to darken up areas that I feel like need to be darkened. And then I took the Natural Brown and I kind of went against the grain of the rest of the colors. Not so much in a crosshatch pattern, but just it came across it horizontally instead of along with the lines. All right, so we're back. I wanted to give you guys a final look at the full mushroom before we wrap this video up. Now, I know I did say that we were going to do 2, and as I was kind of going along, I didn't realize that this one was going to take me as long to complete as it did, and I don't want to make the video like an hour and a half long. So this is going to become a 2-parter, and we'll do our funky mushroom in a separate video. So that's going to be a wrap on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you did enjoy it, please consider dropping a like and a sub. It helps YouTube's algorithm pick my videos up and show them to more people. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I will make sure that I put the combo in the description. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much.